I'm reading the article Paw Prints. Derby the dog is one of many animals that have had their lives changed by 3D printing. You can see here Derby climbs the steps of his home using his 3D printed legs. For the first year of his life, Derby the dog had an unusual way of getting around. The husky was born without bottoms of part of his front legs, so he walked on his elbows. His owners say that hurt Derby when he went on long walks or tried to walk on pavement. Other times, Derby used a wheelchair to get around, but the cart was difficult to use indoors. Also, it seemed frightened the neighborhood dogs that Derby liked to play with. Now Derby is off and running just like other dogs. A 3D printer and a caring friend helped him out. Derby has new legs and a whole new life. Printing possibilities. Derby has Tara Anderson to thank for his new legs. Before Derby's owner adopted him, Anderson had taken him in for a few months as a foster pet. She also worked at 3D Systems. That is a company that sells 3D printed and printed products. We've all used printers that use ink to create words or images on paper, but 3D printers work differently. They use materials like plastic or metal. They create objects that are three-dimensional. That means they have width, length, and height. A 3D printer can make almost any object that people design on a computer. They can make toys, phone cases, even pizza. I thought, surely I should be able to 3D print something to help Derby, Anderson says, but she didn't have a plan to follow. No one had ever created a 3D prosthetic dog leg. You can look over here. Prosthetic describes a device that is used to replace a missing or injured body part. Anderson reached out to Derek Campagna. He specializes in making artificial limbs for animals. Though he hadn't used 3D printing before, Campagna was excited to try it. They had to make sure the legs were comfortable. The legs also had to be easy for Derby to use. After trying different designs, Anderson came up with a curved design she thought would work. In November 2014, she shipped the legs to Derby's owners in Pennsylvania. They tried to help them on the dog as soon as the legs arrived. He just took off and ran, says Derby's owner Sherry Portanova. We knew we had a winner. Just the beginning. Since Anderson's success with Derby, animal rescue groups around the world have used 3D printing. They've created hooves, wings, beaks, and other body parts for injured animals. Before 3D printing, prosthetic animal limbs had to be sculpted by hand. The process could take months. Sometimes the new body part didn't even fit. Plus, the materials they used were often expensive. But 3D printing uses less expensive materials like plastic. A limb can be printed for as little as $50. 3D printing also makes it easier to customize limbs. Customize means to design for a specific need. Derby had a unique problem. He had always walked low on the ground on his elbows. Because of that, he needed short legs first. Plus, Anderson wanted to make sure his new legs wouldn't get stuck in the ground. I could design and print something out in a couple days, says Anderson, and if it didn't work, no time was really lost. Anderson is still trying new designs for Derby. Once Derby had gotten used to his curved legs, Anderson began replacing them with slightly taller pairs every few months. Today, Derby walks and runs with his back straight, just as other dogs do. Anderson says 3D printing is sure to give many more animals a better life. It's a real game changer technology for everyone, she says. So here, how Freddie got her shell back. In 2015, Freddie the tortoise was injured in a fire in Brazil, a country in South Africa. Most of her shell was burned off. Luckily, the animal avengers came to the rescue. The group had made 3D printed beaks for injured toucans, geese, and parrots, but Freddie was their first shell. Here's how they made it. First, they took a photograph. First, the group takes photos of Freddie from different angles and uploads them onto a computer. They compare the images with the healthy tortoise's shell. Then they do the design. They use special software to design the new shell. The design they came up with was made out of 4 parts that would put together like a puzzle. Then they print it. Next, it's time for printing. The 3D printer uses a powdery form of plastic. It's added 1 layer at a time from bottom to top until each piece was printed. The animal avengers put the 4 pieces together of the shell together. Then the doctors attached the new shell to Freddie. And here you can see Freddie's 3D printed shell was painted to look just like her original one.